Hey, welcome to New Jump City, everybody, where we recap the week in American and Japanese sequential art. I am your host, Christian, the unbiased king, Espinal. And joining me through Discord, it is the man, the myth, the legend. It is the Tank Top Sage. Is Joshua Gangsta Time cool?
It's called Partner, but it should be called Gangsta Time.
What up, Chris? What's good, everybody listening?
Hell yeah. Also joining us, it is our producer. It is Edgelord Big News Brian.
なんというビッグニュース
What's up, nerds?
Hey. Oh boy, we're back. We were off last week because sometimes life gets in the way, but we are back and ready to talk about some fucking kick-ass manga. But before we do that, let's get into plugs. You can find me at the Chris Espinal on Twitter and Instagram. Joshua Cole, where can they find you?
At JD Cole _37 on Instagram and at New Jump City Josh. That's on Twitter.
Hell yeah. Brian?
Formerly known as
Find me at
X.
ESP on both Instagram and Twitter. And if you ever want to catch me when I'm streaming, you can find me at twitch.tv/punchline.
Ooh-wee. You can follow the show itself at New Jump City on Twitter and Instagram. You can email the show itself at newjumpcitypod@gmail.com with any questions, suggestions, anything you guys want us to talk about. And we'll usually bring it up on our pre-show chat show that we do. We did one this week. Very excited. We gave you a little, it's a little longer than usual, which is nice. We gave you a little extra because we missed last week. So, you know, we're giving back to the community. If you're out there, if you're listening, if you enjoy the pre-show chat show, let us know also on that because we like doing it. But do you like listening? So hit us up on that. You can subscribe to us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube, all of that stuff. All of those platforms. We're all on all of them. So hit us up on that. Like, share, subscribe, comment, help us out with the algorithm. And if you like the show. And yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all the plugs for now. So without further ado, let's get into the show proper. One Piece. This is One Piece chapter 1110, Starfall. Pretty epic title for a chapter. This chapter actually opens up with a little title story, a cover story. We got a new one. Last we saw of it, we saw that Onigashima has sunk to the ground, to the underground, or the underwater submerged Wano of the past. And now we it's revealed that this cover page story is going to be following Yamato in Ogre Child Yamato's Golden Harvest Surrogate Pilgrimage, Volume 2. I want to travel throughout Wano like Odin did. As we see that Yamato is telling Momonosuke that he'd like to travel throughout Wano, which I wonder if this means she's gonna reach the underground thing, the underwater city. Eventually.
Yeah, I think maybe this cover page ends with, when this cover page ends, it's going to continue in the real story. I think that would be sick if that's how it happens. But
excuse me. Yeah, that would be sick. Imagine he finds Pluton.
yeah.
Oh my god. But anyway, the last chapter ended in a pretty crazy fashion. The Vegapunk has started to transmit his message to the world that is going to be revealing the truth of the world, but he's pre-programmed this message to give the world an opportunity to prepare themselves to hear the message, get whatever they needed to get in order, so everybody could have their full attention, so they could learn about the history of the world. And Jay Garcia Saturn did not like that, so he is now calling all of his homies. He has created a summons, and the 4 other pentagrams have appeared on the ground. The Navy and the Giants alike are looking on as the fucking Black Thunder is coming down. We cut to Marijoa, where we see that there's a giant pentagram on the ground and the 5 elders are gone, while Vegapunk's message is going. And at this point, we have 7 minutes until the message is revealed to the world, as the 5 elders all arrive simultaneously in their full fucking yokai forms, and we all get to see the type of demon they are. All of them are revealed. We see that Saturn is a Gyuki, which is this like spider demon thing. We are all familiar, obviously. Marcus Mars is Itsumade, which I looked into it. I just forgot what it is, but it is this like weird dragon thing that's supposed to actually have more of a human face. Feng Shi, which is like a boar demon from Chinese mythology. Nuzjuro is Bakotsu, which is kind of this like horse demon from Japanese folklore. And Jupiter is a sandworm, which I don't know if it comes from anything specifically. I remember looking into it, but it is very reminiscent of the Dune one. And I think like a lot of people have pulled reference that it's like the Shia-Lud from Dune.
That's what they call the Shia-Lud?
Yeah, the giant earthworm in Dune is called the Shia-Lud. And we get a gigantic 2-page spread of all 5 elders in their demon form, and Luffy just looking on like, whoa, I gotta fight all these guys. It's not looking good.
Fun fact, it's been 8 years since the last full double-page spread like this.
Oh, wow, for real?
Yeah, last time this happened was in Dressrosa, when the Grand Fleet was being formed.
Oh, where it was just this one image?
Huh?
Where it was just this one image?
Yeah, when it's a big 2-page spread with nothing else in it.
Yeah. First of all, this 2-page spread slaps.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna give that honor to something, it should be the reveal of all the 5 elders' devil fruits. But yep, all hell breaks loose. Nuzjuro immediately starts cutting down pacifistas left and right. In his like weird half horse demon, half guy form.
He's Senatored up. He's Senatored up.
Yeah, he's all Senatored up. Sanji is desperately communicating that shit has gone crazy right now. He warns them that I'm trying to refamiliarize myself with all their names. That Mars in his Itsumade form is going up to the Labo phase to capture Vegapunk, or to capture Bonnie and the rest. He's warning them about that. They're like, there's a really freaky monster, just run away now. And I think it's implied that Itsumade was Mars has managed to break through the barrier, the force field. So when Nuzjuro cuts the pacifistas, it seems that he freezes them from within. So I don't know how like physically he cuts them necessarily, but he freezes them from within, it looks like. Mm-hmm. Just to clarify on that, the earthworm guy, Shia-Lud, goes down. Jupiter, he goes down underground. And we cut up to the Labo phase where Nami, Usopp, and Brook have all seemed to reconvene at the ship. Usopp seems to have actually stopped the ship from falling off the cliff with one of his bamboo shots. So they're like, cool, we made it through. The ship is fine. And Jinbei explains that, like, I understand the urgency, whether the fight's finished or not. I'm going to drag him back with me. And we see Zoro, who's getting his sword knocked away by Lucci. And Lucci's like, you sense the massive hockey too. Almost makes you want to stop and look. And Zoro's like, it's all over the island. Jinbei is getting closer to Zoro. And we hear Sanji talking about, like, Thanks, Jinbei. Stupid modest head, putting the entire crew in danger. He's a liability. And Zoro seems to overhear that and immediately finishes off Lucci in one hit. The Huhuva spot hunt, to be specific.
Is this a new move?
Yes, I think so. I mean, I haven't seen it, but they're all slashes, really. So Lucci is defeated. Luffy is currently being eaten by Jupiter, right on time for Broggy and Dory to show up and cut him out of the sandworm's throat, decapitating Jupiter and setting Luffy free. Luffy is like, yeah, the giants, you're here. And they're like, ga ba 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 ba, it's been too long, Straw Hat. He's like, yes, we couldn't wait to see you again. Gya 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 gya.
Couldn't they have just moved him first
Hmm?
for all that extra shit?
Say what?
Couldn't they have just moved him, moved him away from the worm before saying all that?
Well, they were a little
funny
far
shit?
to move him, but they got closer as he ate him. Anyway, that was One Piece, chapter 1110. Josh, what did you think of the chapter?
This is the RGC of the week.
Yep. It's kind of hard to beat. You agree too, right, Brian? Brian. He probably agrees. I'm going to give it the Unified.
Unified RGC. Unified RGC. Unified RGC.
We know he chose One Piece. We know it.
I do know it. So, go for it, Josh.
So, to point out some things that I did not realize on the first read, I thought that they punched the worm or whatever so hard that he spit Luffy out. They literally chopped him in pieces. They each took a swing and they sushi'd this nigga, bro. They sashimi'd him. He's done. Sunsword? They sunsword your boy.
Shialud.
It's yeah. No, Jupiter.
Yeah, Jupiter is the guy, but he's known as a sandworm.
Yeah, but he's not dead.
What the fuck is a Bakotsu?
Bokotsu is like a demon horse. I'm not really sure its significance, but I think it's like Japanese.
You know what a
folklore.
Fengchi is?
Yeah, it's like from Chinese mythology. It's like a boar demon.
Oh, like Ganondorf.
Yeah. They got legit Ganondorf on their team.
And if you look,
That'd be
he has the
fucking crazy.
same spots on his head that
Alright.
he had in his human form.
In my what, Brian?
He has like the same spots on his head from his human form.
Yeah. And I think the easily the scariest is Itsumade.
Yeah.
It's even a scary name. I don't even want to look up what the fuck that's supposed to mean. I really don't.
When I looked it up, Itsumade had like a human face on it. But I guess not this guy.
I knew it. I knew it'd be super fucking creepy.
It's definitely, they're all creepy. If you look them up, every single one of these things is fucking weird.
All right, who's the derpiest looking one?
Definitely the sandworm.
Yeah, the sandworm.
You look at it too, face right? He's just screaming,
Yeah, he's
dirt.
screaming. We
Oh
outside.
my God, sliced.
We
We
outside.
So that's get stupid. Oh,
I'm a fucking worm.
This is RGC, by the way.
Yeah, we already did it, Brian. We assumed that you would also
Mhm.
agree. So we did the unified.
Fun fact. At the end of the chapter, it's a callback to Little Garden.
It sure is.
When because Luffy got eaten by a long neck dragon,
By a
long-necked dinosaur on
Bronchiosaurus.
Little Garden, and
Yo.
Broggy cut him out of it. And this time around, it happened again. Luffy just loves to get eaten by things, I guess. Hello?
Yo, the Giants are gangster enough to fight with the elders.
They don't care.
I don't think they even know who the fuck they are.
They don't
They're just
care. They saw giant
The
worm.
Giants know everything, man.
The Giants
Supposed
may
to
know everything.
bro.
Oh well, the Giants are like they can live to hundreds and hundreds of years. These Giants,
All that shit.
Dory and Bragi specifically, have lived for 100 years, so they probably know, like over 100 years. So they probably know what the fucking void sentry is in theory.
Yeah, and they just been fucking around on Little Garden for all that time.
Well, you know, what are you gonna do?
Well, yeah,
You gotta wait for your moment to cut up a giant sandworm to save your buddy. But Josh, what were your continuing thoughts? I meant.
Oh, do I have anything more of substance to say? I said Utsumade was scary as hell, right? We did that already?
We did talk about that.
Yeah. Yo, Sanji said, run for your fucking lives. That shit scared me. He said, there's a monster coming for you. And it's just like, they do look like monsters. And it does definitely like heighten the seriousness of the situation. But it's like, come on, you know there's no one users. You know what time it is, Sanji. You done seen these types before.
No, we haven't seen
You done seen
these
Marco.
types
He's
before.
seen.
These are
Huh?
literal demons.
They defeated a ogre king.
Yeah, but these guys seem like they're on a different level.
Nah, I bet you I bet you like these guys can't beat Kaido 1-on-1.
Yeah, well, 1-on-1, you got to bet on Kaido.
Maybe if they squatted up, I don't know. That 5-on-1 is OD.
It just doesn't seem like they take damage, though. That's the thing. Because I guarantee you, Jupiter is gonna like act like nothing ever happened to him in the next chapter.
Well, he is a worm.
Yeah,
Worms do regenerate, so I do fully expect him to be okay as well. But I guess those are all my thoughts, really. What do you have to say, Brian?
This arc has officially reached a level that I did not think it would possibly reach.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll tell you what, I didn't think we'd be fighting the 5 elders right now.
yeah, this is not what I was expecting at all for this arc, and I am pleasantly surprised. And now I'm wondering what the fuck is gonna happen next. Like, I'm giving up. I'm giving up on trying to think about what could possibly happen next. I'm just here and I'm enjoying the ride and I'm present. And I feel like that's what Oda intended to do. Like, I feel like after Wano, everybody's kind of been looking forward to something, right? Like looking forward to Elbaf, looking forward to Laugh Sale. But now he gave us a reason to be like, nah, motherfuckers, we're here. We are on Egghead, and you are going to pay attention. And he used the 5 Elder Stars to do it too. Like, god damn, this was an insane fucking chapter. And I'm literally at a loss for words. Like, I just don't know what to say, because these were people that we thought would be like end game bosses, right? But here they are already in the arc that we least expected them to show up. And one thing I will say, for my lack of things to say about this chapter, people were arguing before who out of the 3 between Law, Kid, and Luffy had the hardest route. It's Luffy. 100% now. This is it. You put Law or Kid in this situation, they are fucked. They are royally fucked. And this definitely solidifies Luffy's spot as the Emperor, because him being in this situation, you could still have hope that he's gonna come out on top somehow. Um, so yeah, those are my thoughts. This chapter is fucking insane.
Man, I
From
didn't know
start
there
to
was a
finish.
debate over who was the clear emperor between. It was
No,
very
not who was the clear emperor, but who had like out of the 3 destinations that they pulled. Remember, because
yeah.
which one went to the hardest spot, and it's definitely Luffy.
Yeah, deceptively so. To be fair, it was all sweet for a little while, and then the Illuminati showed up to assassinate you.
Yeah.
Man,
Things dramatically. I think I've changed to the dramatic.
yeah,
This spun out of control really fucking fast.
yeah. I'd like to think that none of the 5 elders are going to be defeated right now. I feel like this is a great reveal by Oda to set up the stakes for the final saga. Because I think all of this, everything ever since we left Wano, everything's been building up for the final conflict. And it's just setting the pieces in place for where everybody's going to be before everybody reconvenes again, whether it's on Raft Tail or whatever. I think like the next few years of One Piece are going to be set up between here and Elbaf. I think obviously the designs of the 5 elders are fucking awesome. I don't know how they're beating them, to be honest. I just feel like it's not going to happen right now. Because this is more about escape than defeating anybody.
But Luffy doesn't want to run, right?
Well, I think he does want to run in this particular situation. Because the priority is like getting Vegapunk off the island. Like normally I don't think Luffy would want to run from a fight, but like I think he's shown that like we got to get out of here a little bit. One thing I did say, that Zoro and Lucci scene where he beats Lucci in one go is like, why didn't you just do that? This whole time I get like this weird distraction angle, but it's also like if you could just take him out, just do it. It's the same result anyway, whether you believe in like, well, not whether it's a fact, like whether you are like afraid of him recovering quickly because of his awakened Zoan status. He's gonna do that no matter what, you know?
I think it was just an excuse to keep Zoro out of the fight for a bit.
Yeah, but you know, I get it. But
Zoro is slightly below Luffy in terms of strength, slightly.
Yeah.
So it's like having 2 Luffys in this situation would be pretty busted.
Yeah, and now that like the situation has flipped and now the 5 elders are here, they're like, okay, Zoro can join the fight now. But this is super exciting. I'm so relieved. I say this every time, but I'm so relieved that there's like a new chapter expected this Sunday.
Yeah, and then after that, it's a month break.
I'm what for real?
Yeah,
Shut up, Brian.
it is. It's legit.
You're
like
lying to me.
break.
Fuck.
I'm not.
No.
After next week's chapter, it's a month break.
No way. Brian, why'd you do that to me?
And then it's back for a week, and then it's off on break again after that.
Why?
So,
What do you mean? Where you read this?
listen, trust my sources.
You bastard. Why would you do this to me on the show?
I'm sorry. I thought I'd mentioned.
I have to look this up.
Yeah, it's like.
Oh, you're right, Brian. God damn it. Okay. So after next week,
it's my job to know things, okay?
It's gonna be Oda. It's gonna be a break until the 22nd, and then there's gonna be a Golden Week break. What the fuck?
Yeah, so there's gonna be 3 chapters,
bro.
Until next.
We are not gonna know what Vegapunk's message is until May, probably.
Maybe even longer, to be honest. Maybe after Golden Week.
Okay. I'm obviously being hyperbolic. I'm happy he's getting his rest.
And you know that he's gonna leave us on a cliffhanger next week.
God.
Like a really heavy one.
I'm gonna be so mad reading it.
Oda loves to do these crazy cliffhangers right before he takes a break.
I'm gonna be reading this next chapter with a sour face on. I'm just like, I get what you're doing, and I understand that you need rest, but why?
Why aren't you a cyborg?
Why can't we have it both ways, where you have unlimited supply of health and energy, and we get our manga? But all right, fair enough. Anyway, I did appreciate the callback to Little Guarded. I thought that was pretty sweet.
You were pretty sweet.
It's been a long time coming. You know, the Giants meeting up with them again. Man, I hope Dorian Bragi don't fucking die here or some shit.
I mean, they kind of have to like, I don't know. It would make sense for them to die here because then
No, it wouldn't.
It wouldn't. I
it's
don't
because
agree.
there's a
Nope.
new giant warrior pirates guys coming. So
But they're
if
part of
these guys are
Luffy's
still here-
fleet.
yeah, exactly. But he's trying to be the greatest giant of all time. The two goats are still around.
I'm gonna need them to live. First of all, I'm gonna need them to do
I
one.
don't want them to die, but
I'm gonna need them to box the 5 elders and then run.
I don't know. I think they might get captured or some shit.
I also appreciate how much of a fuck they don't give.
Yeah, they're the Luffy coded for sure.
They definitely saw this fucking giant earthworm, and they didn't even think to themselves that it was like, this could be one of the 5 elders. Nope. Cha-cha. Stupid worm.
Get out my face.
Get out of my
dumbass
face, stupid worm.
boy. Little worm boy.
One thing I noticed, maybe I brought it up before, but Nosjuro, he has a V initial. His name is Ethan Baron V Nosjuro. And I know it's a pun on Venus. He's supposed to be the Venus elder.
Oh,
But he has a V here, and we know that middle initials mean something.
He's the Dollar Tree version of D.
V Nosjuro.
The will of V.
Venus Juro. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Stepper, Jupiter. Okay,
There's
yeah.
Saint J. Garcia Saturn,
Unless-
Saint Marcus Mars, Saint
yeah.
Topman Warkery. He's supposed to be Mercury.
like Mercury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Venus Juro and Jupiter, which is Jupiter. Shepherd Jupiter.
Yeah.
Very into it. My gosh. One Piece, One Piece, One Piece. You never cease to amaze me.
Oh, Jupiter. It's a planet of gases, but it looks like a bunch of sand. It's a
Oh, for real?
sandworm. It's pretty.
Is that the vibe?
Yeah, well,
Is
you
that
know,
what it's called?
Jupiter's I mean, that's what I'm getting from it. Like when you look at Jupiter, it looks like, I don't know, it looks like sand, you know?
I actually
it's
didn't know
just-
that. I'm asking genuinely.
Yeah. Oh, let me Google. Let me look up an image real quick.
Anyway,
Jupiter.
it's so good. Is there anything else I wanted to talk about? Yeah, I mean that's it.
Yeah,
for
it
me.
looks like sand.
It looks like what?
It looks like sand,
Okay,
but
I
it's
guess that
a
makes
gas
sense.
planet.
Yeah, I wonder if there's like more of a thought put into the demons and their respective planets like that. It'd be interesting to think about. But anyway, so good. I'm ready to move on if you guys are.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's go. My Hero Academia. This is My Hero Academia, chapter 417. It's not on this first page.
I've returned.
I've returned. There you go. Thank you, Brian. Last we left off, Midoriya was putting all of his efforts into blasting bits of all one for all into Shigaraki in order to break his subconscious and somehow pull Shigaraki's true consciousness out of the fog of skepticism and oh man, what's a good word? Just depression, sadness generally. And he comes in for another punch. He's surrounded by a big finger shield that he's punching through, and he manages to shoot all of the quirks into Shigaraki, leaving only Nana Shimura behind. So, you know, she's like sitting there wondering, like, why was I the only one who was left behind? And it's pretty much because Shigaraki still holds like pretty hardcore resentment towards her. Oh, no, actually, it's because she's like she's trying to think back to see if it's because Shigaraki hates her, but it's not because he hates her. It's because she's hesitating. Something within herself is hesitating. Oh, the chapter's actually called Shimura. I didn't even see it. But anyway, last we left off, Deku also was arrived at the front door of the Shimura family, and he's in his school uniform at this time, and he's about to go ring the bell, but then he sees like a darker version of himself saying like, "Say you learn more, what then? What say you learn more, what then? Say you expose his past to the light. Will that change a damn thing?" And I think like this is apparently a projection of how Shigaraki sees Deku. And Midoriya responds that he doesn't know, but letting this end without finding out wouldn't sit right with him. And the darkness Deku is just like, "How about you die instead?" And he's like, "You will let me in." And he's immediately teleported to like the road. Basically, he's about to get hit by a truck, and he notices that his backpack gets scathed, and he can take physical damage in this realm. Nana Shimura explains that Midoriya has delved deep into Shigaraki's subconscious, and as a successor, his thoughts take solid form here, so they can affect each other physically. And she apologizes for being the only one to be repelled again. And Midoriya's like, don't be sorry. I'm glad you're here with me." So he starts thinking. Shimura explains that like he tells Midoriya to think of this place as Shigaraki's core, his origin, and it's him at his most delicate and malleable. So Midoriya runs into it, and he is immediately cut off by Stain, who is coming from his memories. I guess it's just mixed people from the past just coming in and trying to stop him. Midoriya manages to get through him, who turns into Redestro, and then also Overhaul. He runs in and he sees a giant picture. He opens the door and he's greeted by a giant picture of Nana Shimura with her son, and it's really the memory of Shigaraki finding the photo in the first place. Midoriya steps through the door and he sees Shigaraki in the midst of getting hit by his father. Shimura is just like, can't believe it. Shigaraki runs over. At this time, Shigaraki is just like a silhouette at this point. But as Deku gets closer, he hits like a force field that prevents him from moving forward. And we see Shigaraki's dad talking about how like that wasn't his grandmother in the picture. That was a monster who abandoned her child. And Shimura is just crying, just like, oh, of course he didn't keep the photo because he wanted to. He couldn't part ways with it. And, he's in the middle of just like saying, you know what heroes really are? They're people who hurt their own families only to help complete strangers. And, Shimura is just like racked with guilt for like leaving him behind and, passing down that trauma down to Shigaraki. And he's like, if only I could have taken down All for One and gone home to my son. And she's like, I'm sorry, Kotaro. And Shimura just bursts through, finally finds resolve, and is able to be the final barrier breaker to burst through and hold her son, which allows Deku to be face to face with Shigaraki as he discovers his quirk and unfortunately kills his dog. And that's actually where the chapter ends. This is actually a normal sized chapter, I think, for My Hero. But Josh, what did you think about My Hero Academia chapter 417?
This the most recent My Hero chapters have all been very interesting. I'm pretty invested in the story. I mean, I guess like I imagined that it was gonna go ultimately back to that scene with Shigaraki and his original sin, so to speak. But I like how this was expressed. I like how the final, like, the same quirk that was rejected because it was Shigaraki's grandmother that was connected to that trauma in his past was the same quirk that Deku needed to help break through. Something else I noticed was how, like, his costume has been changing. And like he has like a like when the barrier breaks and what's her name?
Nana.
Nanama?
Nana Shimura.
Okay. Yeah, Nana Shimura. When she stops her son, Shigaraki's dad, um, you could tell like he has like a book bag and like a lighter jacket on, and now he has just his or maybe it's the same uniform. Maybe I'm bugging. I thought he was like getting younger or something like that, but I guess I'm wrong. Man, I hope he could save Mon. He's starting to dissect the dog.
Yeah.
I have the same feels for this dog that I had in Jujutsu Kaisen when every time Suguna was about to dissect somebody, like use that, when you put his hands on your chest, you see all the dices. I
Yeah.
got the same vibes, bro.
Yeah, I was very sad about the dog. I was like, well, why'd you have to teleport to this point? I don't want to see this part again.
Come on. The guy driving the truck in the dreamscape, asshole.
For real.
Bad person.
Learn how to drive, right?
Really, really bad person. Really bad person, yeah. I don't really got much else to say. It's interesting. Brian, are you back from restarting your computer?
Yeah.
Okay.
This was a pretty nice chapter. The art was pretty sick as per usual. Like I don't even know if there's a point in bringing up that the art was good because it always is. Um but man, the like visual storytelling in this series is second to none. Like man, it's I guess it is worth bringing it up because like I feel like nobody does visual storytelling like Horikoshi. It's just the actual story. Like the story writing is the bit of a problem. But when it comes to portraying a story through the visuals, he is elite. Like probably the best in the modern generation. Like the visual metaphors, the way that like the art represents how the characters feel. It's pretty fucking well done. Um I like this idea of Deku kind of memory hopping and jumping between like different periods of time. It's like time travel, but it isn't, right? Or maybe it is. Who knows? Maybe at the end of this, like Deku punches his way into Shigaraki's heart and changes how 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 things turned up somehow. I hope that's not what happens, but um this is a pretty sick story, you know? It's them showing up to like save like for Deku to become the hero that Shigaraki was waiting for, you know? Um Man, this is a pretty nice chapter. Just a really nice chapter, you know? Like seeing Deku push through and have Nana have that bit of closure to like, finally be there for her grandson. Um it's just nice. But I don't have much else to say. Like, I'm interested to see what happens next week.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I feel like we go back and forth between My Hero Academia, between how just kind of like ambivalence and wow, this is actually pretty good, you know? And I feel like this is very consistent with what Horikoshi wants to do with My Hero Academia's villains, you know? Like the whole thing is just kind of like hurt people. So like the solution is to just kind of like help people through whatever trauma is what made them angry in the first place, you know? And it's very consistent with what Deku wanted to accomplish with Shigaraki in the first place, where he always just wanted to save Shigaraki from within rather than just defeating him and if defeating him and sending him to prison just like anybody else. He wanted to fix him for the better, and or at least like put him on a track where he could know where it was wrong how Hero Society treated him before, and there could be strides to be made for making it better for him in the future, or better for people like him in the future, just righting that wrong. And I think this is especially like powerful for Nana, which I really sympathize with her, because she was kind of like stuck. She had to do what she had to do. She was given the power of One for All, so that comes with an enormous burden and responsibility. And I could see how like it could be seen that she abandoned her kid, but it was just like she couldn't be around him, especially in the era that she was in, where things were a lot more volatile and there were a lot more villains around. And I feel like it was more than just like choosing strangers or your family. Is just like, now that you've accepted this responsibility as a hero, which is your job, if you're getting into the job of law enforcement or whatever, in this case like superhero work, it's just, if you accept this kind of responsibility, I understand where she's coming from and separating her family from that. But the ripples are also realistic, and I'm curious to see how this actually resolves. How Midoriya actually fixes this, because this is all happening in their mind. What's done is done. It's not like he's changing the past. So I'm wondering how this would have an effect on how Shigaraki is now. But yeah, overall, I like this chapter too. We gotta wait 2 weeks for the next one. But I'm very excited to see what happens next. That's all my thoughts. Do we have any rebuttals? Anything to add?
No.
Hell yeah. All right, without further ado, let's move to our next series. Hold up, getting the soundboard back up. Hooah.
We call that Easy Monday, GG.
Jujutsu Kaisen. No Jujutsu Kaisen came out this week, but we decided we'd like cover the last chapter that we missed last week with Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 253, Inhuman Makio Shunjuku Showdown, part 25. We open up with color pages of something that happened last chapter. But I thought it was pretty cool. It was so well drawn. I will give it that. It looks great. I feel like this was supposed to be in last week, but they just decided to throw it in this week. It's very confusing. But anyway, this chapter starts out with everybody asking who the strongest grade 1 sorcerer is. And we get a bunch of different answers from Mei, from Nanami, from even Gojo, who are like, it's probably Kusakabe. Everybody's just kind of like lukewarm on it. And it's just like, I guess it's Kusakabe, but it's my personal opinion. Gojo also says Kusakabe, but maybe not if we include the big three families. And Kusakabe himself asks, someone besides me and Usami. uh and
Dude,
we
I love Kusakabe.
Yeah, we immediately cut to the action at hand. Maki is still in a brutal battle with Sukuna. They're just throwing cars at each other. They're throwing each other around the city. It's fucking nuts. Maki's about to get hit with that clean cleave. But then that's when Ino comes along and is about to do his thing, which distracts Sukuna enough, makes him use his technique on him. And he cuts up Ino pretty bad and gives him a fucking stomp for good measure, sending him flying out the window. And Sukuna notices that like he doesn't have his usual curse tool, and we see
he doesn't. He didn't have Nanami's curse tool.
That's what I'm saying from Sukuna's perspective. He's like,
Oh.
did he not have his usual curse tool? And we see in the silhouette above that Kusakabe came down and uses the Nanami's old blade, which is imbued with his curse technique, which is why he can use the ratio technique. Pretty sick. I always love the ratio technique. I'm glad it's technically not gone. But it doesn't seem to be too effective on Sukuna, as he just like slams him Kusakabe against the wall, and Maki comes in and knocks him over, gives him a good full form tackle, sending him flying. So Maki starts thinking to herself, is like, if this fight drags on, another problem will come up, even if Yuta survives. And she's like, I gotta stay firm, and I gotta stay here and stand firm. And we get a little bit from narrator Sama, who's like, after Satoru Gojo's death, Kashimo, Higuruma, and Okotsu fought Sukuna with exceptional talent, but what piqued Sukuna's interest the most was the one who had forsaken Jujutsu, Maki Zenin, and her heavenly restriction. The King of Curses was elated by this reality. He was like, hell yeah. He palms her in the face and they start flying out of the window. Sukuna's thinking to himself, he's like, she isn't some punk like the boy. She carved away everything to become a true void. And Sukuna starts yelling about how Jujutsu is about nothing but skin and blood. But your body is bone and marrow, right? Do you get what this means? Your very existence denies Jujutsu. And she's like, which is worth turning into strength, Jujutsu or flesh? So let's settle that with this fight. And Maki notices that he stopped using reverse curse technique to heal. And Sukuna's like, this is the first time that anyone's given me anything to prove. And he just hits her with a black flash, sending her fucking flying, I guess.
Yeah, this is really unfortunate for Maki, I gotta say. The one person that Sukuna cares to fucking destroy is her.
Yeah. And then we have Kusakabe. He's like, what? Am I the last one? What about Itadori and Choso? And I doubt Mei will show up. Oh, fuck. He's like, oh, if we had no chance of victory, I could have retreated earlier. But at this point, I have to fight, right? Am I going to fight Sukuna? And that's where the chapter ends. With
It's golden.
Yeah, so funny. I love it. But Josh, what did you think about Jujutsu Kaisen chapter 253?
I said it last time that Maki is, in fact, on pack watch, but I don't think it's over for her yet.
Maki is on watch.
I really appreciate that your man's with the summons pulled up with the ski mask and tried. He tried. And I think he's dead.
No, he's not dead. There's still like an element to his curse technique we haven't even seen yet.
He's dead. We won't see it.
Wait, who?
You know,
Oh,
he's not dead. There's one more thing we haven't seen him do yet. So he has to do that before he dies.
He's all but dead.
And apparently it's
But
like
anyway.
super, super powerful too. It's one of the beast forms that he has or whatever.
man, I'm not gonna say anything about anybody. Everybody dies in this series. You can't trust Akutami at all.
Yeah, I was
think
kind of
he's-
upset that Sukuna noticed the chop from the ceiling from Kusakabe. He's supposed to hit him right in the fucking head with that 4-5, with that 3-7, whatever that shit is called.
You
The
should
ratio.
have aimed for the head.
Nah, damn, she fine.
Nah, he caught it though. Then Maki came through and saved him. Tossed him. What went wrong?
Sukuna
He
died.
just ran up on her. He just ran up on her, grabbed her face, and took a chunk off. That what happened? Is she missing a piece of her face, or it's just a slash?
I think it's just a slash. A really bad slash, but
I
a
hope.
slash nonetheless.
Yeah, hopefully it is.
I'm gonna see this
Um,
like little hand placement and say that Maki blocks some of it, some of the black flash. By the way, I'm noticing it now, but if you look at that black flash page, her
Yeah.
arm
Awesome.
is like stopping it.
Yeah, but
I'm
he
sure.
did parry. So,
I'm sure it still hit her, but like she may have brunted some of the damage. Is my guess.
damn, and he's in top form right now after hitting the black flash, right?
Yeah, he is. He is now performing at probably at 120% of his power.
Shit, that probably means he can use his domain.
I don't know, because the domain is like your brain has to not be. He's given himself light brain damage doing this, so I think he has. He may still have to wait. He can still use his technique at a higher level, but I would say that probably his domain's off the table. Probably, but that's my guess. I could be wrong entirely.
Well, Brian, what are your thoughts on the chapter?
I feel really bad for Maki. First things first. She just wanted to show up and help, and instead she has to deal with with primetime Sakuna really fucking wanting to prove something of himself. So there's that. I don't think Ino's dead. I'm pretty sure he still has some stuff to offer to this fight. Um, I'm so glad that we finally get to see Kusakabe want to do something here, or not want to, but have to do something. I guess.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
it's-
definitely forced to do something.
He's been kind of like the organizer for this whole fight this entire time. So him kind of having to step up and do something now is pretty awesome. Um, I just wonder how much more there is to him, because all we've seen is his like simple domain shit, but we do know that he's capable of more. Like there's stuff that we haven't seen from him, and I just wonder how he's gonna fare against Sukuna. I I doubt that they're gonna hype him up for him to be like somebody who can't do anything to him. I just think Kusakabe sells himself way too short. Um, but aside from that, it's really, even though Maki is kind of fucked, it's really cool to see her kind of stand up to this guy, to someone who's this many levels above her. Um, and I kind of hope that she's not out of the fight for an indefinite period of time. You guys think she got picked up by Uiwi or whatever his name is, the little fucking
That
teleporting?
that would be helpful, probably. But
Because it looks like everybody who gets their ass beat just.
well, you had to be on like
teleporting.
you had to be on death's door to get picked up by Uiwi.
Wait, why? Is that part of his curse technique?
No, he teleports people away to, I imagine, the reverse curse technique lady.
Yeah, but why do they have to be at the brink of death?
Well, it's more for, you got to be out there as long as you can, and we'll only teleport you if you're like pretty close to the end, because someone's got to be occupying Sukuna at all times.
Yeah. That makes
So I think like when things are looking dire, that's when Uiwi comes to get you. But man, I'm scared for that kid, because now that Sukuna knows that he's just like teleporting people, he could just decide at some point is like, man, fuck this kid.
Yeah, he is kind of putting himself in a really bad spot. But I think he's always accompanied by somebody every time he comes out.
Yeah, he usually comes with somebody. But even so, I mean, like, who's gonna stand against Sukuna at this point?
Kirara.
Yeah, this is nuts. I'm wondering, like, if there is a particular thing about teleporting folks. Where are they going? What are they doing once they're there? What's the plan if certain people end up there, and if they're able to get healed, do they just get sent back?
Yeah, we haven't seen anybody come back yet. So I imagine it's probably going to be Yuta who comes back first.
Yeah, something crafty is going on wherever they are, wherever they're teleporting folks to.
They also took Gojo, right?
It did take Gojo.
So there's a chance that Gojo.
You're gonna turn his eyes into a curse tool.
That would be sick.
There's no way. Who would use it?
Yuji Itadori. But the eyes are the eyes. They don't really. They only help with like seeing cursed energy and all that stuff. Anyway, I'm curious about what Kusakabe is gonna do. It's so funny. I mean, he's a grade 1 sorcerer, so like I don't expect him to stand any more of a chance than everybody else.
I feel like he's like a sleeper pick, you know?
I mean, I'm sure he'll do something cool. That would be rad if he did something awesome. If he was like secretly Shikamaru and was doing Shikamaru-esque things. Because he does give me like echoes of Shikamaru.
Yeah, he is very Shikamaru-like.
Yeah, as a complainer.
Yeah.
I don't have much else to say though.
Oh man, this was so good. I'm just like, what is going to happen in this series? Is the bad guy really just going to win, and that's it? Because I don't know how they beat this kid.
Look at the slashes he left on the building.
Yeah. Poor Ino. I really feel bad for him because he's
not dead.
He's doing no, I don't think he's dead, but it does suck. Look how much in pain he is. He's just a guy. You know what I mean? He's just kind of a dude.
That's a jag.
Yeah, he's just a guy.
He has a whole nother. I just wonder what his last thing is, because I know he has 3 forms.
Yeah, I think Ino's super cool, but he is getting his tail handed to him.
He's shit rocked.
Yeah, poor guy. But yeah, that's all. I mean, honestly, great chapter. I can't wait for next week. I'm so glad it's not on break anymore. Glad we got to talk about it this week. But I'm ready to move on if y'all are.
Yep.
Alrighty. Yeah. Let us go.
I hope he turns his sword into some guns.
Kagurabachi.
Are we covering last week's chapter or this week's?
This week's chapter.
Okay. So last week's chapter, we left off with the action kind of starting to take off a little bit, with what's going on with the family and with like the separate thing with the brother or whatever. So now we're kind of just picking up where we left off. Um, the chapter starts. Let me pull up the chapter real quick. Oh shit! I think this is the last week's chapter. FML. I hate. Have I talked about how much I hate the Viz app so much?
It is a bit of a weird app.
It's so slow for no reason at all. Okay.
Yeah, on the phone and on the computer.
So the chapter starts with Shiba when he took up what's his face? Fucking Soru or some shit. That's his name, right?
Something like that. I just got introduced to him. I don't remember his name.
Yeah, he picked up Soru and brought him like 50 feet into the air. And they were kind of and they're having like this cool air battle where they're kind of dodging each other's attacks in midair. It's pretty sick. I'm a big fan of how Shiba like his style and stuff.
Because he's aloof.
Yeah, he's very aloof.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. He's like, this is kind of tough, huh?
Yeah.
This guy's kinda
Exactly.
Whoa, this guy's actually strong.
Whoa, can't believe it. This guy knows what he's doing.
Try.
Yeah, it's pretty sick little fight here. And during the fight, Shiba kind of realizes that maybe the best course of action is to kind of regroup with Chihiro. Because he believes that kind of, even though it would be like a 2v5, he thinks that the odds of them winning are a lot more likely if they work together. So we cut back to Chihiro, and he's fighting the family members of the Sazanami, right? That's their names.
Yeah.
And we find out a little bit more about how they operate, where they just ask for their dad to give them weapons. So he like takes them out of the storehouse, and he grants them the weapons, which is a pretty sick idea. I'm not gonna lie, that's a pretty cool little setup where they just ask for shit and then he gives it to them. And the fight kind of continues. They keep pulling out weapons out of thin air. And the father's kind of like, huh, one of them disappeared. That's kind of weird. Maybe that's how they got in. And they keep asking him for stronger weapons, for shit that can deal more damage and shit. And as they're kind of getting the drop onto Chihiro, Shiba returns and uses it's Soya, and uses Soya as kind of like a shield to prevent them from hitting Chihiro. And when he gets there, they're like, "Yo, where the fuck were you?" And he was like, "Oh, I was looking for fuckboy McGee. I was looking for
And the
Hakuri."
little brother.
Yeah, I was looking for Hakuri, and that sentence alone is enough for the dad to kind of be like, "Oh, so that's how they know about all this shit." So he immediately summons Hakuri in, to everyone's surprise. And they're wondering how he did it, how he brought him here, and it turns out that all of the Sazanami family are registered into the fucking storeroom. So they're basically property of the father. So everything that's property of his and the storeroom he's able to call them to his whim. Essentially, which is really fucked up. And now that Hakuri is in a terrible predicament, and they kind of have to choose between like this guy dying or retreating, Chihiro decides to sacrifice his sword. Um, which is kind of fucking wild because if you really think about it, that's like Luffy kind of giving up his straw hat to save someone's life. Um, and the chapter ends with Shiba kind of being like, "Yo, so like this was you were planning for this shit to happen, right?" And Chihiro's like, "Yep, we're not fucked yet. Basically, we still have a chance. I just I'm just curious what it is that he's planning here." But yeah, that's Kagurabachi. Josh, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, this father's in big time asshole.
Big time echo.
He's so
BTA?
he's so smooth. He's so smooth about it too. Yeah, BTA. Um, you damn, like is that the theme this week? Asshole father figures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy, the one in My Hero, all the elders in One Piece count.
Just
All of the elders count.
just crotchety old people.
Yeah,
Old people are the worst.
and Sukuna's mad old. So,
Right? It all fits.
Yeah.
Shigaraki's
There's a
dad.
theme this week. We're not even finished yet. Watch.
Parents just don't
Out for Undead
understand.
Unluck next. Anyway, yes, his dad is ruthless. I mean, I think the scene, the part when they were negotiating was probably like my favorite part of the chapter. Because it's like it shows how smart, like how basically big time of a villain they're dealing with, so to speak. He was able to suss out immediately that, um, he was important to them. Like not only was he an informant, knowing that they wouldn't want to sacrifice lives, like he was willing to use his son as a hostage and just, he completely leveraged that situation to get his sword. Just crazy that that was a part of the plan. It seems very I don't know. It feels like a cop out almost. But
Like what
because if
does?
that wasn't the plan, would he have given up his sword? I wonder.
I feel
You
like
know?
it was always a contingency, maybe, but I don't think he went in there planning to give it away. But maybe it was just part of a situation that he would like if he really had to, he would give up the sword.
Well, I think like there's clearly something that there's an advantage to the Eten being there.
Yeah, because it looks like it's crying.
And this guy is like, I think it's fine. You know? He's like, my plan was to give them the Eten at some point. He probably didn't know how he was gonna pull it off, but it did work out the way he wanted it to.
Which is interesting because like there's going to be a lot of big names fighting for these swords soon. So once the auction starts, because they're not planning to buy it back for sure. That's definitely not what's going to happen. So does Chihiro know like sorcery? Is that a possibility?
I would think he has to in order to use the blades to begin with, right?
I don't think so. There's no clarification that that's what
Well, his
needs to
dad
be
might.
done.
I think his dad knew because I don't think you can make these blades without knowing it. So maybe it's something he's able to do. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not sure how exactly the sorcerer stuff works in this series yet, but um I don't know because the Cloud Gouger guy didn't seem like he knew any sorcery.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure about that to be honest.
I just thought the swords were just a way for people who weren't sorcerers to kind of keep up with them, essentially.
It could be. I guess I'm unclear on that as well. Maybe I could look into it for next
There's
time.
there's no I don't think that's ever specified what the point of the swords were, but like that's what I think. Like my idea of it is. That's my headcanon. But we'll see. Maybe it gets explained the next chapter, actually, considering that our main character doesn't have one. He's he's been through so much already this in this series within 25 chapters. He's lost an arm, he lost his sword, like he's lost his dad. What else is this guy gonna fucking lose?
Yeah, sometimes I forget that he lost his arm.
Yeah, he's just so capable that he doesn't really need it.
Was those your thoughts, Josh?
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have much more to add to it. I'm looking forward to the next chapter.
Nice.
And see how this plan unfolds with the liquid sword.
Liquid sword.
He's gonna spawn an aquarium. That's what's next.
Yeah, probably. A 3-fish aquarium.
He's gonna release his Zanpakuto, and it's gonna be a fishbowl.
Yeah. I really like this chapter a lot. I thought one thing I noticed about I'm trying to see the name of the guy, Hakuzono's art. He does this thing that like that Kishimoto started in manga. Well, I don't know why. I don't know if he started it, but he really popularized it, which is like he's able to draw in a perspective that's like kind of a camera shot, so you see the perspective of kind of a fisheye lens. He does it on like page 2, that one big panel where he just launches himself upward. I thought he does this a lot in this series, and I think it's so cool. He's so good at like foreshortening and perspective shots like that. I just want to praise this guy's art. He's so good.
Yeah, the shot at the end of the last chapter, oh my fucking god, when Shiva first brought him up into the sky.
Yeah.
That was such a sick fucking spread.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good. It's almost well, I don't know if it's underrated, but I think it's really fucking good, and I think he can only get better from here. So this is a good start as far as art goes. I thought that the manipulation of the storage room and having all of the siblings technically be items from the storeroom is a really like smart twist. And it's like based upon rules that were established already. So in theory, we could have guessed this, and that's what makes it really effective. It's just like, whoa, this is cool. It makes so much sense. It doesn't feel like it comes out of nowhere. It really does set up the head of the family as a pretty good antagonist, even though he may not be the most powerful himself. Cunning is like a really important thing as well. So I thought that was kind of sick. The twist at the end is also cool. With the Eten being willingly given up on purpose. I'm very excited to see how that factors in. And I think like it's not beyond Chihiro to be more of a strategist as well, because he always was like kind of a straight thinker and like a level-headed person. He's not a combat forward thinking person, so he's just always like trying to think a step ahead of folks. And I'm excited to see how this turns out. Overall, Kagurabuchi has been pretty stellar series in my opinion. I'm glad it's here. That's all I gotta say about this one. Brian, what did you think about this chapter?
I mean, I feel like I've said a lot of what I liked about this chapter, but I mean, fucking, I love this series. Like, I actually look forward to it every week. Like this and Sakamoto Days has all of a sudden become like my first reads of the week.
Yeah.
Where like I kind of open up Jump and I remember, oh my god, the new chapters are out, and I immediately look for those two series. But yeah, I fucking loved it. I love everything about this series so far. And I just want everybody to fucking start reading it because it's so good. Get on it, guys.
Yeah.
If you haven't started yet.
Yeah, I think here it has a pretty good following, to be honest. I'm just hoping it survives in the Jump rankings in Japan. But yeah, very
I think
excited.
it will. It still has like a surprising amount of support for a new series.
Yeah. Yeah, the first volume cover looks really good too. I'm excited for it. I don't know if I'll be able to collect it because I'm running out of space here, but I would if I could. But anyway, that's all I gotta say. Shall we move on to the next chapter?
Yep.
All right, here we go.
This is just some really murderous shit.
Undead Unluck. And with that, I'm gonna toss this one over to Josh.
Yeah, Undead Unluck, chapter number 199. Language. Yo, last week Beast got fucking annihilated. Top ran through him quite literally. Gave him he got hit with at least 3 different drop kicks at this point. And the third one was the one that split his body up. You know, Fuko realized she can talk to the souls of past negators, and so can the other negators. And yeah, so we are left off at this chapter where they're both Top and Unbreakable are drowning because they can't swim. Such losers. It's so childish to not be able to swim. If you can't swim, you need to learn. Grow up. For real. 70% of the earth is water, right?
You can't swim. You need to learn.
I mean, I gotta
Get
learn.
good.
I do
Skill
have
issue.
It really
Oh, are
is.
you one of those people, Chris?
Yeah, I am one of those
'Cause,
people.
I did not know you was catching wicked strays here.
Yeah, I'm I'm shot up, bro.
Yeah, it's pretty childish of you, Chris.
Yeah, I
Why
got.
don't you just stand in the water like me?
It's very juvenile, Chris.
No, you're right. I gotta get on it. To be honest,
Go to the YMCA, bro.
you're right. I understand.
Well, my harsh execution of people who can't swim aside, the Negators won. Fuko and the gang, and of course, the bad guys was mad. They watched their homie disappear into dust and smoke. Definitely the smoke from this pack that I got right now. So up in the air. Matter of fact, give me a quick second.
Beast backed away. Beast's pack watch has concluded. He is a pack officially.
Yes, yep. That beast pack is in the air. Him and the one from X-Men during the Hickman run, they could both get in the pack. Honestly, that guy was a douche.
What an a show!
Yeah, premium dickhead. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Subscription only, dickhead.
subscription only. Nah, but they did watch all the villains around like their evil table or whatever. Watched Beast disappear, and they was all upset. And then Soul came back, and it was like, "Oh, did you have fun watching your man's die?" Right after like they pray on him. And Soul is like, prayer is not the answer. We need to beat them and usher Beast into a validated world. They all look at him like, I don't know. I wonder what that really means. So
This world's gonna get a blue
Like
check
he-
mark.
yeah, you already know. But he's basically trying to get across the point that one of the other rules, change. She acts like, how were they able to beat Beast, and he says that, essentially it's because they was able to connect to their past, but he makes a point saying that in the looping world there are 3 rules that one must wield: soul, death, and change. So, and he explains it as the rule that transcends physical boundaries to relay information to others as soul, the rule that acts as a trigger to accomplish that, which is death, and the rule that allows growth in those who accept what souls have to offer, change. Why, she looks so mad.
She's upset,
God
bro.
damn.
She's not having a good
She's
time.
sick. I
Pissed
think
off.
Beast was her like homeboy. You know what I mean? That was probably like her like one of her closer
Yeah, that was her buddy.
rule friends. Huh?
That was her best rule buddy.
He was talking about how Juiz caught on to the fact that over the course of the past 100 loops, about the concept of these three rules, but she couldn't embody those quantities for whatever reason. So that's why she passed it on to Fuko Izumo on luck. And it's funny because as they show that Fuko, the luck negator, they actually show that there's a rule for luck as well. Very interesting. Looks like a sad boy.
Yeah. There's a rule for death as well, which, is Andy's.
Oh shit! Yeah, she's probably his kryptonite.
Yeah.
So anyway, Change is like, oh, you're giving them an awful lot of praise. You make it sound as if we're going to lose. And he says, my favorite part of the chapter, he says, haha, yep, I am saying that. So there's a pause. They all look at him at the table, and they all set it off. They all get ready to load up their super duper, long range attacks or whatever. And he says, simmer down. Y'all can't beat me. Like, don't even, let's not even, let's drop the charade. Y'all all lack experience, all right? But he was like, look, like, Unjustice looped like 100 times, but all of a sudden she was ready to give up the seat. That's because she found someone. She found the truth. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like it was interesting how he says that, like, her injustice ability was so strong she was able to suppress the other rules, which I guess makes sense. It turns their whole being against them or whatever. It discourages them. I'm still not 100% clear on how that works, but we still have, I think, with Julia, we'll have more of an explanation anyway. So she's saying how, like, the rules never realized the potential that the human negators had. So like, if we want to beat them, we have to acknowledge that they can get that strong, and we need to create a plan as well. So we come back to Fuko and the gang, and it's revealed that Top seen like his successors as well, which is kind of whack because I don't know. I mean, I feel like he didn't have a power up per se in that moment after talking to them.
Yeah.
But maybe he'll
it
get
feels
stronger
like
in
slightly
time.
unearned.
Yeah, right. I mean, granted, he was the one that beat Beast, but he had that armor on. It was like really unbreakable.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever, anyway, we'll get into that with the thoughts. So Fuko mentions how, look, I gotta tell, like, before we go, try to grab the next negator, we gotta go back and tell everybody about the soul rule and how to, like, open up to the past negators to get stronger. And the other rule, the master rule soul, he's privy to that too. So they're both all right. Buko tries to set up a plan, like set up a plan because she knows that they're gonna try to prevent it, but Soul isn't implying that it has already been implemented because it's too late, and they can't speak to each other. They all of a sudden lose the ability to talk, and that's because the master rule for language is eliminated. That I guess that's pretty crazy. And language is sitting there with Ichiku and also what's my man's name with the spears?
Oh, this is Spears.
Yeah, the Deku.
Deku? Like Nico?
Nah. Nico, thank you. Yeah, Nico and Ichiko. So it's looking like we're gonna have a little fight with the couple and language. And she's like sitting there reading books like on her book throne. Very menacing.
Yeah, there's like a guy. She's sitting on a person.
Is she, oh shit, and they're dead.
Well, they're holding her up. So
Yeah, she's a problem.
but yeah, she is.
Looks like he's dripping blood. Yeah, well. So yeah, apparently Chico is a big key to this. Isn't her negation? Oh, what is it? Unsleep.
Yeah, it's unsleep. But I don't think she
But
unlocked
she
it
was
yet.
able.
Here.
Oh,
Maybe did she? I actually don't
yeah,
know.
you're right. She hasn't. Nah, she hasn't.
And
I mean,
Billy
she's
and
up right
Nico
now.
hasn't either.
Oh yeah, this should be epic. I'm really looking forward to this fight. But what's your thoughts on the chapter, Chris?
I thought it was interesting. I thought like the taking away of their ability to speak is something I didn't see coming, and it's pretty goddamn important. I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was all interesting. It was cool to see the negators of Andy and the rules of Andy and Fuko respectively with luck and death. It gave me some anticipation as to like how is those battles gonna turn out, because they're obviously gonna be pretty pivotal. But yeah, I'm wondering if this is like if Fuko had prevented them from getting their negations unlocked for this particular event. I guess maybe they can unlock it here. And the last time we had Nico have a fight of his own, it wasn't very happy. He had to like betray the Union. So I don't know. I'm hoping that like this will be Nico's happy ending with Ichiko. I think they're specifically targeting Ichiko because she can exist outside of her body, like her soul exits her body when she sleeps because of the artifact or whatever.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see what exactly they want from Ichiko and how they fight. Because this is language right now, but she was knowledge when she was sitting in. So this is her second phase ability.
Oh,
So I think generally she
I did not
controls
know.
knowledge, but like her phase 2 ability is just language in general. Because I distinctly remember her being knowledge as a rule. I wonder if that crown on her head was like that library from ancient times that burnt down, that O'Hara is actually kind of based on, I think.
Wow.
The Alexandria.
That is one hell of a catch there.
Yeah, Alexandria. But yeah, I mean, I don't really know what to say from here on out. I'm very excited. This is the start of a new arc for Undead, so I'm excited to see how it turns out. Josh, what did you think about this chapter?
It was I was interested. I like them seeing all of the rules together. They're not as like how do I say, you know, they're not like the same average old like villain group.
They are
Actually,
a tiny bit.
They are a little bit.
tiny
All right,
bit
they are a
because they
little
don't
bit.
like
I'm
each-
not. I'm not.
They
saying
fight
that
each
right.
other at a second's notice.
I think their relationships are unique because they
Yeah.
clearly kind of care about each other in a sense, but they don't. They also don't want to lose. But I think there's more, you know, to them what they represent on a philosophical level.
Mm-hmm.
you know, Beast was kind of like Beast and Sick is kind of like really on the nose about like what they represent. Some of these other ones are a little bit more abstract. Especially Luck. I'm really interested in Luck and Change the most.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess those are pretty much all my thoughts for Undead.
Oh hell yeah. Well, then that'll conclude this episode. That was Undead Unluck, and that has been our show. Thank you guys so much for listening. As per usual, you can find me at the Chris Espinal on Twitter and Instagram. Josh is at JDCole_37 on Instagram, at New Jump City Josh on Twitter. Brian is at B.ESP on Twitter and Instagram. Follow the show at New Jump City on Twitter and Instagram. Email us at newjumpcitypod@gmail.com with any questions, suggestions, anything you guys want us to talk about, and we will talk about it on the show. On our pre-show chat show that we do every week. We did one this week. Very excited to get it to you guys on Wednesday. Subscribe to us, please. Subscribe, like, share, leave a 5-star review wherever you're listening to the podcast. I very much appreciate you guys listening, and thank you guys for sticking around with us, even though we took a break last week. We will be back next week, so be excited. We will see you guys next week. Stay safe, New Jump citizens.
Peace.